Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Marcus from InfoSec Governance, and today's video is all going to be about zero trust architecture and what is zero trust security modelship. Now first off, if I'm looking extremely red, it's because we're actually having a heat wave in the UK for once. It's a whole 16 degrees and I'm absolutely boiling in this office. But without further ado, let's get on. So zero trust architecture. If you don't know what this is quickly becoming the security model of choice for businesses which are looking to further secure their systems. Now secure trust systems, if you haven't already heard of this term, just means that the businesses have removed any type of trust from their system. As it says, they have configured the default environment to be treated as hostile or public. Now this can be especially helpful if you're introducing a load of IoT devices, bring your own devices, BYOD devices, anything like that. It just means that whilst you're working, whether it's in the office or the home or even in the coffee shop or anywhere external, it just means that your system and resources are designed to be untrusted by default. Now, you might say, why does this make sense? The simple reason is, as more and more businesses start reaching out to the cloud, there's more people going to untrusted networks. So if you've got a cloud subscription model, it's on a system and an environment that you don't trust, inherently don't trust, and it's not something that you control or maintain or anything like that. So it's now becoming more and more common for untrusted systems to be done. So this is where the zero trust model comes into play. Now, if we take a traditional network, you'll know that there are firewalls, there are switches, there's the local area network or the LAN. And when you plug in your computer, you get an IP address, you connect it in, you get prompted to log into your network. All done and dusted, you're trusted to have access to that entire network. Now for a zero trust model, you plug in your computer is not trusted whatsoever. Everything in that environment, that network, will not trust your computer. So you have to put additional controls in place to actually do this. Now what will happen is, you will have a computer that goes in. If you want to establish a connection to something, you have to authenticate against it. Your machine or your user account, or both, have to actually identify themselves, say, yes, we are who we say we are, we're accessing this. The server on the network, or whichever device on the network, authenticates you, checks that your system's up to date, it's whatever controls and policies are in place, the rules are in place, say, yes, this is right, fine, go ahead, connect, establish a connection. Now, this happens for everything that you do on a zero trust network. Now, you're not going to be connecting to your computer, you're not going to be getting prompts popping up left, right and centre and everything like that, because that would just do your head in. What actually happens is, a lot of the time behind the scenes, is you've got rules defined by your IT department or your security department, which actually say, if this machine connects to this device, it meets X, Y and Z. So for example, it's fully patched, it's running this version of Windows or Mac OS or iOS or Android or anything like that, it's fully up to date, it's got antivirus installed, it's been updated in the last 30 days, well, hopefully more than the last 30 days, and everything else, that meets the health threshold, so that's allowed in there. Then you might have two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, that you need to access a certain device or service or anything like that goes into there, and it just goes on like that. So although you will have to authenticate across a lot of stuff, majority of it's all done automatically behind the scenes and goes from there. Now, some of the things you can do is use authentication and trust of the users, which can be managed through using things like MDM or mobile device management or health services. So now that we know a little bit more about what zero trust is, we need to actually know how to actually remove the inherent trust from your network or the local area network and build confidence from your user base or your staff and your members of people who actually use that network. Now obviously it's easier to do this on new systems or systems that have just recently been built, because there's no legacy systems or anything else built in there. But for systems that are being well established, have been used for years and years, all I can say is recommend, take your time, plan, talk to the members of the IT department, your security, HR, management, all the users within the business, talk to them, see what they use, see what they're happy with. What systems do they use, what systems don't they use, what versions of the systems are being used. You might actually have some old legacy applications that you didn't realise you were using and running until you actually go and do this, and then that could open up a massive can of worms. So have a look, plan out your whole system, see what you've got, design it and go from there. Now what you don't want to do is just do a big bang approach, go in, tear everything out and go, right, there we go, we've got a zero trust network and everything just breaks. What you want to do is go in, start small, start turning little bits away and go from there and progress until you've done it. Do little bits, test it, plan it, verify it, make sure it works. Once that's done, move on to the next bit and next bit and next bit until you've got your entire environment done and it's all zero trust security model. Now, when you're looking at building out your zero trust security, as I said before, you're going to have rules and policies in place to actually verify your computers and devices that are connecting to it. Now, what you want to do is actually just have a look at these, define them, ideally possibly set them up as roles and services. So you have various roles saying any devices or machines or users that connect to HR or payroll or anything like that go in this role and this type of service. Anything like that goes into that one. Therefore, when you're actually troubleshooting or debugging anything later on in life, you can actually filter down to group authentications and roles and permissions and things like that, and actually just make your life a lot easier, saying if all these users and all these roles are not getting access to something and they're all based in this one group of users or devices, then you actually know it's just this area, it's this set of rules, it's this set of group permissions or anything like that can actually access that. It just makes life a lot easier moving forward. So when you are designing your zero trust security model, you should be working against the following principles, which are: know your architecture. This includes your users, your devices, your services, your data, everything within your infrastructure. Know it, detail it, log it, document it, do everything. Next is know who your users are, your servers and your device identities. So therefore, making sure you know who is logging in, know what usernames are, your passwords are, your credentials, is there anything legacy there, get all that sorted, get all that documented, have all that in place. Then know what the health of your users, your devices and services are. So have you got everything supported, is everything in place, and go from there. Then use all these policies to authorize the request to your services. If you're using policies to say if X, Y and Z goes against this service or wants access to this, then you've got a policy that says either yes or no, it can do that. And then obviously lastly, authenticate and authorize everywhere. If you're building a zero trust network and system, you want to make sure that everything that you touch and access, you're getting authenticated against, you're getting verified that you are who you say you are, and go from there. Now, once you put all these principles in place and you've designed your network and you've seen what's what and you know what's in place, and you're going to go start and rip everything out slowly, hopefully, and then go and put it in place, and you start building that trust and that relationship. People are logging in, things are working, you're authenticating, you know what you are, you've got your health policies in place. And then once you've got all that done, you're going to be in peace of mind that no matter if anyone breaks in, if a malicious actor got in, if you got exploited somehow, somehow managed to get into your system, you know for a fact that someone is not going to be able to move into your system and then laterally move across all devices and systems like that, because your system is built as a hostile environment. So if someone gets in, somehow compromises someone's workstation, that's it. They can't get any further. In theory, they can't get any further, they can't log onto systems, they can't do anything else, because every time that computer, that device, that user tries to access something, they have to authenticate against it. Additionally, it could be the case that, if a malicious actor has disabled the antivirus so they'll get a better foothold on it, that fails the health policy and the health rules against your environment, therefore that machine can't actually connect to anything else. Now, this has been a very quick overview of what zero trust security model is, or zero trust architecture is. I can expand on this a lot more because it's a massive estate of things like that. So if you're interested in it, put some comments in below the video. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you already using zero trust models? If you are, I'd love to know what your experience is of it and what your users think of it. Feel free to subscribe to the channel for more information and get notified. Click the notification bell, as everyone says in YouTube, and go from there. And yep, I'll see you next time.